The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening. We're going to call the CRA Board Meeting to order here at the City Hall. The date is September 15th and the time is 5:30. We'll call the road. Mrs. Kellum, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Due to the COVID advisory, we have this meeting is being held underneath the Communications Media Technology known as CMT. The instructions for the public to attend and provide public comments during this meeting are accessible through the website at capecanaveral.org. If you look on the meeting agenda, it's there. I have an advisory to read. Due to the pandemic, this meeting is being held virtually by the Communications Media Technology. For virtual attendees, please note the City Council meeting scheduled to take place later this evening will be hosted via the GoToWebinar link. Please follow instructions on that meeting's agenda to attend. For those who wish to participate remotely during the meeting, during public participation portions of the meeting, click the hand icon in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Turn on the unmute your microphone. Please be patient. Staff will unmute you and advise you that you're live and ask you to go ahead and state your name and residence, and you can begin to speak. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Please use proper decorum. The board can then choose to respond to your comment or move on to the next commentator until all have been heard. If you raise your hand accidentally, clicking it again will lower your hand. Clicking multiple times will raise your hand and may cause your hand icon to not display properly for staff. Staff will only be monitoring the raise hand functions. Question functions will not be monitored. Okay, thank you. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order again, and roll call, please.
Vice Chairperson Brown.
Here.
Chairperson Hogue.
Here.
Board Member Kellum.
Here.
Board Member Morrison.
Here.
Board Member Raymond.
Here.
Okay, everybody's here, and the first order of business is to approve the minutes of the City Council CRA meeting from June 16th, 2020. Everybody's had them and read them.
June 16th.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brown and second by Councilmember Raymond. Please call the roll.
Vice Chairperson Brown.
4.
Chairperson Hogue.
4.
Board Member Kellum.
4.
Board Member Morrison.
4.
Board Member Raymond. 4.
Our next order is to approve the 2020-2021 City Council Community Redevelopment Agency Board Meeting Schedule and Financial Reporting Requirements. Need a motion. It's on your agenda to look at.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we discuss changing some of these dates.
Pardon?
I move that we discuss changing some of these dates around and want to see if we could discuss that.
Okay, we have a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second by Mrs. Calvin for Mr. Morrison's. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So these are scheduled quarterly, obviously, and we usually might go, I think we have to go to the one a year for the annual report and financial audit, but especially that one, if it did not fall on the same night as a council meeting, I think that would be very helpful. We're looking at the entire year in review. It'll help me. I think I called one meeting prior to discuss it. And so I think we had 2 CRA meetings this year, but in the event, if we can separate the one CRA meeting by itself and really spend a little bit more time than 30 minutes on it and kind of look at the year in review and discuss. I think we'll probably stick to that one meeting, knowing we have that placeholder at the end of the year. But as a recommendation, I think it'd be a good idea to consider moving these on dates that do not fall on council meeting dates, especially the one which is September 21st, I think the third Tuesday of September. So that's what I wanted to talk about and see if that's something we could consider.
So you would like to change September the 21st?
Yes, sir, at a minimum.
Do you have a formative date that you're looking at?
I'm open really to any date other than the same night of a council meeting. So whatever staff proposes, more than likely I'll be fine with. Want to be responsible to their schedule, and maybe the second Tuesday, or the fourth Tuesday, the week before, the week after, in September, or even the next month, maybe October, if that would work.
The date is basically open to you, in other words. You don't have a particular date.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Council? Ms. Raymond?
I like it the way it is, and I don't have an issue with it. I think it's fine the way it is. I think it's easy for staff, and we don't need to take any more of their time. Thank you.
Yes.
If I may, Wes's recommendation, just as the finance director, and based on the reporting requirements and what have you, we wouldn't want it the fourth week because of the reporting requirements. That's all I'll say. Everything else, of course, council's call. But yeah, the second week would be fine from our perspective, staff, to be able to get everything done. But the fourth week would not. That would take us beyond the things I have to do to get to the state and other entities.
Second week of what, John?
No, I'm saying the second week of September would be okay. Anytime before that council meeting, but not after the main council meeting for reporting requirements. That's all. Thanks.
So, give you enough time, John? We're taking off a week, do everything you need to do.
Yeah, as long as it's not after the second council, or the council meeting September 21st, where we would be voting on like the final budget and what have you. So yes, if council decided they wanted to do it the second week, another meeting for the CRA, that would not conflict with financial requirements. That's all.
Get a consensus of council and then we'll work
Yeah,
on the date.
I just want to point that out before you start discussing.
So Mrs. Raymond, you're not far changing, or you're just happy with?
I'm happy the way it is.
I missed the reasoning for the change.
We wanted more time to discuss the outcome of the overall year. Is that correct? Is what I understood you to
Yes.
say?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. And one more point that I left off in fairness, and this usually falls with our final and second budget hearing. So like tonight, I mean, this is what it feels like. We've got, the millage rate, the budget, a regular council meeting, and our annual CRA meeting. And that's just, I think that's going to happen every year. And so what I'm saying is just for preparation to separate it.
We've operated this way all along.
Mr. Mayor, I think that I would like to see us do it as on a separate night as well, so we don't feel rushed all the time. Maybe try to see if it works. I would be open to the second week in September for that meeting, and the other meetings that are scheduled the same day as the council meeting, if maybe we could meet a little earlier so we're not rushed. And then if it ends earlier, we get a break in between the meetings.
I have a question for John. Having attorney or
Oh, is the attorney going to be here?
He said he would be here. So does that add additional funds because we're using a separate day versus a day of the council? Is there any difference in money the city would have to allocate for to do it on the councilman's recommendation? It seemed to me like it'd be.
It could, yes. Attorney fees, and if we have any hourly employees who are working to support the meeting, it could cost us more money. Yes.
I recommend it stay like this.
Is it? I'm sorry. John, if it was the same day, just a half an hour earlier, would that make a big difference?
Oh, so you have an hour?
Yeah, I mean, and that way, if we have a lot to discuss, we would not feel rushed. And
Right.
then,
Oh, yeah, that's up to council, but yeah, that would be a good recommendation. The thing is that anytime you have to bring people together for an extra sitting, there's always going to be extra costs, but so that's, yeah.
well, I would like to see the September one be the second Tuesday, separate from the council meeting. And then the other ones, if we need to meet, just meet like a half an hour earlier, so we're not rushed to, okay, let's get it done, and we go from one meeting right into the next one.
So you have one the second Tuesday and then have another one the third Tuesday.
No, the September meeting,
Right.
just have that one, the second,
Scheduled for the 21st, which is the third Tuesday.
yeah, have that on the second Tuesday.
Okay.
And then the other ones, if we meet, just have it a half an hour earlier than 5:30.
But in the meeting and earlier that same day, the 21st.
No, I'm talking about like November 17th. Instead of 5:30, could we have it at 5 o'clock?
Oh,
And-
okay.
Just
Okay,
change it to
November.
a half an hour earlier, so we're not rushed. And then if we're done quickly, then we get a couple minutes break between the meetings.
I don't have a problem with moving them up earlier, but I got a problem with 2 meetings for the same thing. Brings in all the staff like you're gonna be paying everybody. And
I have a problem with it. We'll keep the same dates.
put it to another date or earlier. Earlier is better. You said.
I found out it was going to be additional money. My recommendation would be to save every penny that we have and keep it like it is, but come in earlier.
Or the 21st too, as well.
And then earlier on the 21st is better. Give you more time. I mean, at 4 o'clock, if you want, whatever time you want to do it.
And the earlier would be better than the way it is. I think that's good. Let me just give one example. So the third, the last CRA meeting that we had, I probably wouldn't have scheduled that meeting to discuss the CRA matching grants had I known that I had a longer meeting today. And because we only get 30 minutes. And so I knew that we can really only go through, this is a standing agenda at least once a year, approve CRA budget, approve annual report, approve CRA financial audit, all the schedule. And so this meeting right here is pretty much blocked out for all we can handle in 30 minutes. And like Councilmember Kellum said, there's not even a 5-minute break before we run into the next meeting. And oftentimes we don't even get finished and we just have to roll into the 6 o'clock, the hard start. And so, being able to move it earlier is, I think, better. And if we can do that, that's great. It's just this one day there's so much that we're having to go through. And I understand, well, there might be costs, but you have to think I wouldn't have scheduled that last meeting more than likely had I known we had today. So instead of meeting twice this year, which costs more money, we would have probably only met once. And I just, we have a lot going on, and to layer this in with it, what's the cost on staff to have all this prepared all in the same week too? And so that's a question, I guess, for them to answer. So that's it, whatever we obviously want to do.
I think the answer to your question would be meet earlier on that day because staff seems to get it all together and have it here for you. I don't think they're having a problem. If you want to talk about it longer, then we meet earlier, but I'm not going to meet 2 times. Just talk about it again for a longer period.
Okay.
you can bump to earlier if you want to support that.
So,
We'll
you're looking
support
for-
another day.
Mr. Mayor, if you're looking for a motion, I'll move. I think we said, was it 5 o'clock, Mr. Mayor?
5 o'clock, yeah.
Move to 5.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we amend the proposed schedule for Thursday, Tuesday, September 21st to a meeting start time at 5 o'clock PM.
Yeah, I'll second it.
And what about the rest?
We have a motion to meet September the 21st at 5 o'clock. We have a second by Raymond, correct? Okay, call the roll, please.
Vice Chairperson Brown,
4.
Chairperson Hoag,
4.
Board Member Kellum,
4.
Board Member Morrison,
4.
Board Member Raymond, 4.
Okay. The rest of the times will remain just like they are scheduled, and 5 o'clock is our new time for September 21st. Okay, the next item of business is item number 3, is resolution number CRA 08, adopting the budget Cape Canaveral Community Redevelopment for fiscal year 2020 and 2021. Who wants to take this one, John, or Todd, do you want to summary it, and then we'll discuss?
Yeah, for this year, we have $5.6 million in revenues, which comprises the transfer of the general fund to handle the expenditures. That's $4 million. And then the shared revenue from Cape Canaveral and the matching from Brevard County is $776,000 apiece. That's the 5.6 million. And that covers all our operating expenses. And then 4.8 million for the itemized programs in the capital outlay, the capital initiatives, the MGF, and the mobility piece, sidewalk, 65,000, corner improvements, 53,005, and where we're at right now with the West Central Thurman Boulevard, 1.6 million. And the remaining is our debt service. That's the repayment to the general fund of the 6.2 million that's loaned to the CRA to build the MGF and the Cape. And then, of course, we're repaying the wastewater loan, 470K, and that was from a rehabilitation of a lift station 6, going back 3 or 4 years. But that compiles the whole CRA budget.
If I could, Mayor, just for form and substance, we need to read the title into the record. This is resolution number CRA 08, a resolution of the City of Cape Canaveral Community Redevelopment Agency adopting a budget for the Cape Canaveral Community Redevelopment Agency for fiscal year 2020-21, providing for the repeal of prior and consistent resolutions, severability, and an effective date. Mayor.
Okay, Council. Vicki.
I would like to go later. Not first.
Good budget. Ready to move forward.
Ms. Morrison.
Nothing at this time, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. No questions.
Brandon,
No comment. It's fine.
don't have any comments? I think it's well put together, and we got pretty good years looking at 5.6 million out of the CRA. It's going to be a nice, going to be busy. Don't have any real questions on it.
I just have a question. At the bottom, it says 165,639 in contingency, and then it says 0 at the bottom.
What page
Oh,
are you
you're-
on, please?
You're looking at the projected of where we believe
Looking
we'll
at your
end up versus the original. That's the 1920 budget. That's not the new budget. The new budget is 2021. We haven't adopted it yet. So, and it's 0 there because that's telling you that for the 2021, it's absorbed in the expenses above. So, yeah.
Okay. I know that I would like to, make a motion that we add another 65,000 to, sidewalks. If we could, out of that. I guess everything's absorbed though, is that what, there's no contingency left? Don?
That would be an additional transfer from the general fund. And at this time, I would advise council, if they wanted to do that, that might be something that's better done when the year gets going. And if you wanted to go ahead and do a transfer, approve a transfer from the general fund to the CRA at that time. By doing what you're saying there, that's going to, that will change the entire budget. It's probably 20 some pages. But the thing is you would still, the council would still be able to, you don't have to do that now. The council could go ahead and we could talk about, if you want it more, my recommendation would be this. If council wants more money for sidewalks in this upcoming budget, you don't even have to mess with the CRA. You can do that by doing a contingency and a transfer of contingency into infrastructure maintenance. And then you don't disrupt anything. And then if council supports that, that's the cleanest way. You wouldn't want to go back to the CRA here. It doesn't matter. As long as if you can get your funding for your additional sidewalk or whatever, then by all means, council could do that.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Anybody else got comments? Need a motion? I need something as it is.
I'd like to make a motion of resolution number CRA 08 adopting the budget for the City of Cape Canaveral Community Redevelopment Agency for year 2021.
I second it.
Okay, we're adopting the 2021 budget of 5.6 million as shown on our call-out sheet. We can call the roll.
Do you need public comment,
Oh,
Mayor?
that's public comment. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anybody? Well, your staff. Public? Anybody? I don't have any cards.
Webinar.
Mr. Attorney, thank you. No, Anthony. Stephanie, we have any emails or webinar people out there?
It's me today, sir, and no hands raised at this time, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, Daniel. I thought it was Stephanie. Nobody, Daniel? Correct?
No hands raised at this time, sir.
All right, thank you. We'll close public hearing, come back to the dais. Anybody comment? We'll call the roll.
Vice Chairperson Brown,
Or
Chair Hoag,
Or
Board Member Kellum,
4.
Board Member Morrison,
4.
Board Member Raymond.
4.
Okay, that completes our agenda for this evening. Anybody reports?
Just a quick question, Mr. Mayor, if I can ask Todd or Dave on this. We just passed the budget with 25,000, just so we're all on the same page for the grant programs. You shared it with me and I forgot. When is that projected to roll out? Is it early next year?
Yeah, we're hoping to have something early next year.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank staff for all the work they've done and put into this. Thank the council for working together to get this accomplished and looking forward to bigger and better things. Thank you.
Anybody else? Staff?
No, sir.
Meeting's adjourned.